Can leadership be taught? Can anyone be a leader? Are leaders born or made? These have been perennial questions since ancient Greece. This is the classic nature versus nurture debate. Some believe that leadership is an unteachable gift that comes from personality traits like confidence, decisiveness, or charisma. Others argue that leadership is a skill that can be learned, just like public speaking or playing an instrument. It can be learned and developed through hard work and experience. Now, let's break this down. Research from Gallup found that 1 in 10 people are actually considered natural leaders, meaning that they instinctively know how to manage and inspire teams. However, Gallup actually also concluded that leadership skills can be taught and developed with proper coaching and training. So, considering this research, why would some people actually want you to believe that leadership cannot be taught, that it's an inherent trait, and that people are actually born with it? The reason behind this is so that you may think that they're special, that they have something that you don't have, that they're in a special group, an in-group of people that just know how to lead and you can't. They want you to think that they're better than you are, that they're more important, that they just have what it takes to lead, and that you just have to listen to them because they just have it and you don't. The majority of those people are extremely selfish, and they want you to believe that they were just born the right way, that they were born to a right family. I've heard this one plenty of times when people are trying to explain why some people just have leadership abilities and others don't, which is complete BS. An interesting point of data that researchers have gained is that those people in top leadership positions, so CEOs, politicians, and the ones that would want you to believe that they're just born with these traits are actually psychopaths, sociopaths, and narcissists. Those are the people that will do anything to get on top, anything to be better than you, and they will stab you in the back just to get to their position. And they want to keep it that way. They want you to see them as better people, as more important, the ones that you can never reach, so that they can actually lead you, manage you, and do whatever they want. Just think of Elon Musk, all of the CEOs of the big banks in 2008 during the financial crisis, or just look at Boeing. These are just 3 of the examples that I can think of out of the top of my head. There's plenty more where that came from. Now, let's look at some of the leadership traits that some people think that actually make good leaders. Being extroverted, being decisive, being talkative, being tall, being confident, being inspirational, and having good instincts. So all of these traits and skills can be connected to good leaders, but they're not the only ones. Being extroverted doesn't mean that you're going to be a good leader. I've seen a lot of extroverted people that are really bad leaders. I've also seen a lot of introverted people be amazing leaders. Whether you're extroverted or introverted, this doesn't really matter. I'm an introvert and I know I'm a good leader, but I still have plenty to learn. Being decisive is actually pretty good, but you need to be decisive at the right moments. You can't be decisive all the time because you're going to miss a lot of things. Also, decisiveness can be taught. It's not an inert trait. Being talkative actually is not that good of a thing because you may actually talk way too much and others are just going to have to listen to you. Whereas people that are quiet, that's me for sure, will be actually able to listen to others, to your team members, to people around you way more, and you're going to be able to hear them. Listening and hearing people is actually one of the least used leadership skills. And it's actually one of the most important ones to have. Being tall, that actually also pops up more often than you think. Being confident, you can teach being confident. You're not born with confidence. You actually learn it through trial and error, through being an expert in your field. Being inspirational. You don't necessarily need to be an inspirational type of leader. I know that, at least at the beginning, I was not inspirational. And I'm pretty sure I'm not really inspirational at this moment either, but I'm still a good leader. Having good instincts is really important for a good leader, but those instincts can be taught. I didn't have good instincts at the beginning, but I learned to trust my instincts through trial and error, through a lot of repetition. And always remember what the research shows, that 1 in 10 people can be considered natural leaders. The rest of us have actually had to learn. I went to the US Military Academy at West Point, and contrary to popular belief, that is actually a leadership school. Yes, you go into the military afterwards, but what they teach you in those 4 years is how to be a good leader. And this is where I developed all of these skills, being confident, giving some inspiration to my people. And what they really taught me is how to trust my instincts. So now just imagine, I spent 4 years from when I was 20 to until I was 24 learning how to become a leader. Most people don't actually get to do that. Most people just get promoted to a position of a supervisor, team leader, manager, and they're just thrown in there and they need to lead. That's hard. And the reason why 60+% people actually fail in their first management position, because they don't know how to do it. I was taught for 4 years to actually lead before I even led a single person. Now that we've established that leadership is a skill and can be learned, can everybody reach the same level and skill in leadership? Sadly, no. Leadership is influenced both by nature and nurture. So around 30% of our leadership abilities are linked to genetics. The other 70% are skills. This is the one thing you can't really change. I'll provide the relevant resources in the description below. What the genetics also do is that it can actually influence whether you want to be a leader or not, whether you're actually going to take a leadership position, a management position or not. It kind of goes hand in hand. People that don't necessarily have great leadership potential will usually just not seek it. And if you're a person that really wants to become a leader or a manager, it probably means that you have a high leadership potential. You just need to develop it. So let's look at an example right now. So if you personally know me, you know that I have no talent in playing an instrument or even sing. That's pretty much a fact that nobody is disputing. As much as I can try, I don't have a talent to improve up to a level where people would actually sit down and listen to me instead of actually running away as soon as I try and actually play an instrument, God forbid, even sing. And if you compare me to a person that has some talent in singing or playing an instrument, that's going to be pretty much be a night and day. So the best way to describe this is if you imagine two cups. Okay, so these are the two cups that are representing the leadership capabilities and talents that we have. On the left side is me, on the right side is you. So as you can see right from the beginning, mine is smaller than yours is, and this is also going to represent how much talent I have. At the beginning, there's not going to be that big of a difference between you and me when we're actually starting our leadership journey, and this is represented here. So you can see here that both of our cups are pretty much filled just minimally, which represents that we're just starting to learn what leadership is, how to lead, and everything else. And we're pretty much both in the same level. The big difference in this level between me and you is that you're going to have some sort of inert instincts that you're just going to know what to do. Stuff is going to just come a little bit easier for you than for me. But there's not going to be that big of a difference. Only people that actually do understand leadership are going to start noticing it. What they may actually notice is that you have a bigger talent for leadership. But there's not such big of a difference in this stage. Now, if we move on to the next stage, it's been a few years. We're both into leadership and we're both practicing leadership. But if you can see it from my side is that my leadership cup is filled. And in order for me to get there, to fill up my leadership cup completely, it's taken me long hours of work, studying, coaching, mentoring, and I really had to focus and try a lot harder than you. As we can see with you, you've only filled your cup at around 50% mark. So everything is still coming really easy to you. You just have that inert abilities to understand what leadership is. You don't need to study that much. You don't need to think that much. It just comes naturally to you. Even though I may try really hard to get to your level, I just cannot cope with the leadership abilities and talents that you have. I can get extra coaching, I can read books, go on leadership seminars, but I will not be able to keep up with you or even catch up to you, even at this level, because you're just way more talented than I am. What then happens is when we're moving on in our careers further and further, I'm stuck here. I cannot go anywhere else with my leadership capabilities, but you can. So eventually, you just start to overcome me, and this shows. And when you apply yourself, as in, hey, I'm going to get a coach, I'm going to get a mentor, I'm going to be reading more books, I'm going to go to some seminars, leadership masterminds, your cup starts filling more and more and more, and you just overshadow me completely. So whilst I'm going to be stuck in these certain levels of leadership abilities, as much as I try to get better, I will never be able to do that because my talents are filled. Now that you're filling up your cup, you're also going to have to apply yourself more and more and more. Like what I did before to fill up my cup, this is exactly what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to read books, go and get some leadership courses, have coaches, have mentors so that you can actually improve yourself to your full potential. So this is where the talent difference actually comes. If you have a lot of talent and if you apply yourself, you're going to be able to reach the heights that you've probably never even imagined. So this is what we call talent. Some people have more of it, some people have less of it. But if you work on it and you work on leadership as a skill, you're going to improve your talent. And if you're really talented, you're going to improve it fast and you're going to improve a lot. So now that I've explained this to you, you may actually be thinking on, how can I actually start learning leadership? How can I develop leadership as a skill? The first thing that you need to do is invest in yourself. The easiest thing to do is to pick up a book and start reading. Read about leadership, read about mindset. Just pick a few books and read them and see what clicks, see what author is the best for you, and pretty much just continue reading. The second one is get a leadership course or a leadership development program. These are a step higher than just reading leadership books because they're going to give you some practical examples, some exercises, and pretty much they're going to be pushing you to actually implement them. And then by far the best ones in your self-development journey is get coaches and mentors. Coaches and mentors are going to elevate your skills like you've never thought before. They're going to be there for you and they're going to make sure that you actually apply yourself and that you develop those skills so that you can actually reach your full potential that we know you have. The second part is you need to get experience. You need to start leading, whether that's in your house, within your community, or at work. You need to start leading to understand what leadership and management is. So whether you just want to do a simple project in your job, it doesn't really matter, but you need to start doing it. And then you need to apply your circle of learning. When you start, you're going to fail, which is the second part of the circle of learning. Then you'll need to seek feedback. The feedback that you need to seek is constructive feedback. You need to seek feedback from people you trust and you know that have your best interest at heart. Then when you get feedback, you need to reflect and learn from it. Don't just get feedback just because I told you so or somebody else told you. You actually need to reflect. What can I learn from it and how can I apply it? And then you need to do it all over again. You need to apply those learnings and try again. And this circle of learning is going to continue over and over again until you get better. And then slowly you're going to see that you're getting better and better. You have more experience, you have more confidence in your leadership abilities, and you're going to be able to apply yourself more and more. And you're actually going to realize your full leadership potential slowly but surely. Now, one word of caution. Being a leader is hard. Sometimes you'll want to quit. That's just how it is. I've wanted to quit several times, but then I always remember how amazing being a leader and manager is when I see and look at people who I lead and manage, when they succeed, how happy they are, how excited they are that they've done the impossible. And that's what always gets me going. And the second thing is there's no easy path for leadership. You're going to have to take the journey. There are no shortcuts. And whoever tells you, hey, do this, it's going to be really easy and you're going to be able to be a great leader, they've no idea what they're talking about. Just turn around and run away. You're going to save a lot of time and effort of not following them and actually following somebody that actually knows what they're talking about. The next thing is be curious. Always ask questions, learn, and learn. The last thing is take it one step at a time. You're going to get better, and better in your leadership and management skills. And when you're going to be reflecting in your 6-month or 1-year mark since you become a leader, you're going to be able to see the difference in your skills and your abilities of being a leader and a manager. It's a fun journey, but it's a hard one. So if you've decided you want to become a manager and a leader, I applaud you. And let's take this journey together. You can check out some of my videos on leadership and management here.